I'm Andrew Hanlon, a registered psychotherapist here in the traumatic stress injury and concurrent program with Guardians at the Homewood Health Centre. I've been practicing for about 15 years and working for Homewood for those 15 years. Historically, sure. Like I think some men couldn't, wouldn't, or didn't want to talk at all about mental health. I think more and more it's common that men are trying to talk more and more about their problems. I think the difficulty lies in that at times, even when men do talk about their mental health and their struggles, they sometimes can get met with an unresponsive or indifferent type of audience among their circles. And I think the biggest thing is the fear of judgment. And I think that fear of judgment can be massive. What people are going to think about them, how that changes people's opinions of them, their value in certain roles, expectancies in terms of like how they were raised and where they came from. So I think there's a huge mental block in mental health for men in terms of being able to speak up and ask for help. I think it also can be very age dependent in the sense that it starts very young. We think of things like role models in school, even in the competitive sports culture for a lot of young boys. It can be really profound, right? Because it shows young men, young boys, that you actually can show emotion. It's not weakness, it's a very natural thing. And being able to do that and speak openly about that can actually propel you to hopefully greater achievements and greater things moving forward. So I think the more and more we have influential people step up and do things like that and speak up and show that it's a normal part of being a man, we'll start to see hopefully that shift as time goes on. Truth is, suppressing our feelings and emotions is essentially like a lose-lose proposition, right? Not only does this approach fail kind of miserably in handling our emotions, but any of the benefits of suppressing an emotion can be very, very short-lived. Uh, so the emotions and the feelings may appear to kind of go dormant or go away, but often they tend to reemerge for us at the most opportune of times. So quite frankly, just verbalizing, expressing emotions lessens the intensity of things like sadness and anger, pain. Vulnerability allows us to get our needs met safely and accurately. It also helps us to maintain healthy relationships and relationships that are really, really important to us, whether that be with spouses or parents or siblings or friends. The ability to let somebody know what's going on for you in a very authentic way can actually be the key and empowering for us when old school kind of historical culture was you'd be viewed as weak. Yeah, so I think stigma is a complicated word at times for many things, no matter what it's for. I think the stigma around men reaching out or being open about feelings and mental health, I think it has started to shift, but I still think it would be very naive to still see it not as a barrier. Uh, Societal attitudes are or have slowly shifted over time towards being more accepting of emotional vulnerability in men. However, there's still much work to do. Again, I think we need good role models in schools and sports, frankly, leaders in professional settings to show the way and have a culture of acceptance of open dialogue, uh, not one of shame for showing emotion. I think the campaigns we have, most of our campaigns in mental health, I would say, are geared about mental health in general and breaking down stigma and being more open. It would be nice to see more specifically to men. I think there are lots of great causes out there that tend to focus on certain populations of individuals, people, in very specific ways. I would like to see more on education and openness around men's mental health. We need campaigns to role model open sharing and understanding when it comes to men and mental health. We need to show that kind of the opposite is true. Men actually stay healthy by honoring our feelings, not by shutting them down and stuffing them. I think in my experience over 15 years working with men, one of the biggest things in getting them to open up is developing the strong rapport that they're actually talking to someone that is in fact trustworthy. Also role modeling to them that them talking about very specific things will not lead to any sense of judgment, ridicule, or shame, as we mentioned earlier. Currently, I work in a program where I work with first responders, military members, and veterans exclusively. Men are not the only folks going through those programs, but a large portion of our population. And working with those folks, especially, they have a certain expectation of what it means to be professional. They come from don't talk, don't tell, don't feel type cultures, at least historically. A lot of that, again, is starting to shift and hopefully continues to shift with good campaigns and good role modeling. But we get a lot of folks who will come in from those mentalities of me opening up, me sharing is a weakness. And I think just being able to be a human being, share appropriately parts of yourself that build and maintain and foster that trusting relationship, that's the only way you're going to be able to, or we are going to be able to engage those folks into taking that first step to ask for help. Yeah, I think if you're looking to support someone in your life and kind of show them that speaking up and asking for help is an okay thing or a good thing, I think the biggest thing is to go at it from a place, as we've talked about earlier, role modeling. Start talking a little bit, not about yourself all the time, but talking about the things that you're struggling with. Make that part of the normal culture in the relationship or in the family or whatever the situation might be, but being able to establish that healthy culture of we actually can talk about our feelings. You may not get that person right away buying in or wanting to do it, but I think the more you establish that this is something that you do, you'll get folks more interested in being able to see the benefits of that. I think the biggest thing is, I think I said it earlier, showing emotion is not weakness. We need to get rid of this like kind of weak, strong mentality in men. Like, yes, we can be physically strong and not be able to lift a certain amount of weight or do a certain thing. Anyone in life, regardless of our gender or how we identify, will have things that we, I suppose, can and can't do to a certain point. But I think the biggest thing is just being able to understand that being vulnerable, and vulnerable is such a complicated word at times too, just being able to tell someone what's going on for you. Um, Telling someone what's going on for you will be the thing that actually can propel you and move you into achieving more in your life. Where historically, I think the opening up and the asking for help has been seen as I won't be able to succeed, I won't be able to achieve. The biggest takeaway for me is that being able to speak up is what's going to allow us to be most functional in our lives.